Bitcoin recently crashed from holding it down from a mid-80s to a pathetically low 70s. Actually, it made it all the way down to the 60s. It's in the 60s, meaning thousands of people watch their portfolios drop 30 to 60% or more. You've heard the headlines. Bitcoin is dead, the bubble popped, the narrative is over. But here's the first truth. Bitcoin's life was never defined by a number on a screen. If it were, then anyone who bought at 126,000 is already dead money. And by the way, am I being disrespectful for filming this at a cemetery? Most normal people would stop listening at this point because they anchor their perception of Bitcoin on price. But you're not normal, right? Bitcoin is so much more than just price. It's a new form of money. So the question isn't, is Bitcoin dead? The question is, even after the recent price drop, does Bitcoin still transform the way we think about money? I'm Oceans. This is Beyond Bitcoin. Look alive. First, let's all bow our heads for a moment of silence for the Bitcoin price.
The Bitcoin OGs actually aren't that excited about Bitcoin anymore.
I mean, first, the index is at 0, so which is extremely bearish territory, and it has been between like 0 and 10 for the last maybe month and a half.
Many hodlers must feel frustrated after hearing these lines over and over again. But this is kind of where you have to eat some humble pie and put on your big boy pants. The main thing we must all understand is Bitcoin isn't a chart. So let's stop pretending the price chart is the full story. Because if Bitcoin was just a price chart, then it died at 3,000. It died at 16,000. It died at 30,000. And supposedly, it's dying again right now. But Bitcoin doesn't die. What dies is people's misunderstanding of what it actually is. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Don't you just love those ChatGPT lines? Before Bitcoin, most of us never even questioned what money was. We questioned the banks, we questioned government, we even questioned inflation, but we never questioned the very thing that lies underneath all of it. Even Michael Saylor said that before Bitcoin, nobody actually understood what money was at all. Take a look.
My observation with Bitcoin is before Robert asked me on his show, what is money? I had never questioned what is money. And then we explored it together for many, many hours. and when I finished that exploration, my conclusion was money is economic energy, and there has never been a perfect vessel for the transfer, a perfect asset for the transference of money in the history of humanity. Therefore, every other academic before Bitcoin never understood what money was. Not really, because at best, all they could do was conceptualize a theoretical money, and no one in the history of the world ever actually implemented a monetary system with a proper money. They were always defective. And because they were always defective, whether they're seashells or glass beads or the like, that meant that all economics was, in essence, mysticism and art and politics, but none of it was engineering. You could never engineer a proper economic system until you had a proper understanding of money. But even if I had a proper understanding of money, like it's like asking the question, what is steel 4,000 years ago? And then you say, well, I conceptualize a mineral that's so hard that it won't deflect, even if I pile up 100-story building. I conceptualize that, and you say, I can imagine that. I can imagine it's magic, but then now you build one.
Saylor isn't saying money was mismanaged. He's saying money was never properly understood. And if you don't understand money, you can't understand economics. You can't understand politics. You can't understand power. So when people are questioning why Bitcoin is crashing, they're still asking the wrong question. The question isn't, why did Bitcoin go down? The question is, why did money work this way for 5,000 years and suddenly stop working? And this is where Bitcoin's value becomes obvious, not to markets, but to belief systems. Because Bitcoin doesn't just give you a new asset, it gives you a new lens to look through. It gives you a new lens to look through.
I thought I was a crypto savant. Every garbage coin I invested in seemed to be doing incredibly well. But it was toxic maxis on Twitter at the time that convinced me that I needed to study Bitcoin. My ego told me I already knew everything I needed to know, but it wasn't until I read the Bitcoin Standard that I realized I knew nothing. And so that sort of got me on my way to learning more about Bitcoin and really understanding, I think, more about economics and the world and investing and just how much the system was rigged.
Man, if that story doesn't sound familiar. Do you have a similar story? Let me know in the comments.
Basically invites you to rethink everything you've learned in your entire life. Satoshi opened a portal into cyberspace, and when you go through it, in fact, when you go through it, it offers the promise that you can remake and perfect your property rights, your political rights, your intellectual, self. There's this like, not your keys, not your coin, and you talked about not your keys, and I'm saying, not your keys, not yourself. And so I guess the portal invites you to reimagine yourself and reimagine everything you ever learned.
Listen to what Saylor's actually saying. Bitcoin doesn't ask you to optimize your portfolio. It asks you to reevaluate reality. That's why people who have been through multiple cycles stop reacting to price. Somehow I'm still reacting to price. And this is exactly why people like Jack Mallers don't flinch when Bitcoin drops 30, 40, or even 60%. Because they're not building for this quarter. They're not building for this year. They're building for decades to come. Before we go any deeper into Bitcoin's transformative power, I want to thank sat123.com, your go-to source for reliable satellite phones and off-grid communication gear. Whether you're living away from disconnected networks, traveling, or preparing for digital and physical resilience, they've got rugged solutions built for privacy and independence. Head to sat123.com and use the promo code SIMPLY at checkout for 15% off your entire purchase. That's the promo code SIMPLY for 15% off your entire purchase at sat123.com. Connectivity you can count on, even when the world glitches. I also want to take a moment here to mention the bitcoinway.com, the top resource for personalized training in Bitcoin self-custody, cybersecurity, and sovereign wealth preservation. Whether you're new to Bitcoin and want a secure self-custody setup, or a seasoned hodler tightening privacy and security, the Bitcoin Way offers expert consulting and hands-on guidance tailored to you. Go to thebitcoinway.com/beyondbitcoin and claim your free 30-minute consultation to start building financial sovereignty with confidence.
And are now nursing some pretty serious losses. What would you say to them?
I'd say the same thing for people that bought Bitcoin at 126,000 is that we are building for the long term, right? This is a business that I plan to be the CEO of forever. Bitcoin is a technology that's way bigger than just me or just this company. It's going to last way longer than any of our lives. And so this is a long-term mission to fix the money and fix the world. And I don't really have any advice or tips for day traders or, Robinhood option punters. Those people are way smarter than I am at picking the right stocks and picking the right times. I build for the long term. I'm looking to rebuild society and recapitalize society on sound money that nobody can control and manipulate. And that's what I would say is that this is a long-term business. I'm building for decades. We have no problem with the volatility, and nothing about who we are, our mission, and what we're building has changed.
Did you catch that? He didn't say fix the price. He said fix the money. And that distinction changes everything. If Bitcoin was just about price, volatility would kill it. But Bitcoin is about monetary transformation. Volatility is just the growing pains. And even people who don't fully commit to Bitcoin, even skeptics, are forced to admit something fundamental has changed when they face the properties of Bitcoin.
Well, the evolution of Bitcoin over the years is one of the things that has influenced changes in my view. It has proven itself something like 10, 11 years ago. Imagine the programming of this, and you throw it out, and that's the idea. It has not been hacked. It has operated. It is built. It has come an amazing way over that 11 years to be probably the most excited topic among a lot of people. And has been used and is now has obtained, the status of having imputed value. At the same time, it is one of those assets that is an alternative money. I think we're entering an era where there's going to be a competition of monies because of the printing of fiat money and the depreciated value. There will be a competition of monies, and Bitcoin is part of that competition.
Hey buddy, when Ray Dalio says competitions of monies, what he's really saying is the current monopoly on the money system is breaking down. But we all know monopolies don't die quietly. They fight, they smear, and they scare. So when you see fear in the market, ETF selling, liquidations, panic, that doesn't mean Bitcoin is failing. It means that the old system probably feels threatened. Bitcoin isn't asking for permission. It doesn't care about approval. It doesn't care about your entry price. And it doesn't read the headlines because it doesn't have eyes, unless you consider that we all are the eyes of Bitcoin.
The people who understand money and are more attuned with money already understand and like Bitcoin. Right now, the people who are more preoccupied with like number go up in the legacy system have ETFs to go through. Like we are slowly replacing things, right? Like, and on the internet, like nothing beats a Lightning payment, right? Like it's better than Visa, it's better than everything else. So like, it's gonna happen. It's just like you just gotta exist in this and make it pleasant.
Let me show you this, right? Like,
because once you understand what Bitcoin is, you can't unsee it. You can't go back to believing money is neutral. You can't go back to believing inflation is accidental. And you can't go back to believing that the system is broken by mistake. So no, Bitcoin isn't dead, guys. What's dying is the illusion that money was ever fair, neutral, or stable to begin with. Before I sign off, I want to mention ClubOrange.org, formerly the Orange Pill app, the global social network built exclusively for Bitcoiners. Connect with fellow sat stackers like yourself, find local events, meetups, and merchants, and grow your Bitcoin community in real life. I'm on ClubOrange too. And you can reach out to me directly there if you want to. You can DM me, I'm at Oceans. Special shout out to Mr. Michael out there in Jersey. Thank you so much for your support and connecting with me so far on ClubOrange.org. You got to remember, Bitcoin's value isn't in short-term price action, it's in long-term truth discovery. Ask yourself these questions. If the money changes, what else changes? If trust in our system changes, what else changes? And if your ability to be sovereign changes, what else changes? Price is volatility, but truth endures. Diamonds are forever. But are they though? Bitcoin is not dead. It's revealing more of itself every single cycle. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like what you see and you want to see more, make sure you hit that like button below, or you can subscribe to the Simply Bitcoin channel for more content like this. We're coming out with it every single day, guys, every single day. Also, if you want to leave us a comment, feel free to. We get many, many comments from our chatbot friends in the Poopcoin community. Also, don't forget to hit that notification bell. I'm Oceans. This is Beyond Bitcoin. Until next time.